Hi, I'm Julia Henze, a professional artist, urban sketcher and drawing teacher. In this video, I will show you how I use colored pencils in my sketches. Time to time, I get a question about the colored pencils I use in my sketches. And I have already an article on my blog about colored pencils where I explain which colored pencils are better for me or work for me the best, and which are a little bit less useful. But I thought it would be a good idea to make a video about it because you can show a little bit more in a video. And today I'm going to show you what colored pencils I have and how I use them. And here actually all my colored pencils, maybe I have a few more, but I don't have a lot of them, not that many. These colored pencils are of a different quality. These are cheaper ones, it's student grade, and these are watercolor pencils. These are pastel pencils, and these are absolutely my favorites. This is my pencil case, which I use a lot on location, and these are the colors I take on location to draw my urban sketches. Okay, and here I have different colors of different brands. So I use all these different pencils of different qualities, but I don't use them all for the same purposes. So let me explain. So for example, I have this sketchbook which I don't use very often, but I like to draw people sometimes. I don't do it that much. For this kind of sketches I actually use less beautiful colors and harder pencils. It doesn't matter for me if the pencils are cheap or expensive. The most important thing for me for these sketches is that they are quite hard, because I like to draw with hatching, and I like to draw this kind of dark, very strong lines. And for this purpose, I need harder pencils, and I actually don't care that much about the colors. And regarding the colors, what I want to say is that cheaper colors actually often have less beautiful colors. And maybe it's not very obvious if we talk about yellows and reds, but when we talk about greens, for example, you can see that green colors of cheaper pencils are usually not that beautiful. Let me show you. This is a color that you can't use for greenery, for example. At least I think you can't. Or, for example, this color. It's not really a greenery color for me. But if I look at my other pencils, for example, this these are CARAN LUMINANCE pencils. They have very beautiful colors, very subtle, very rich. So for sketches like this, I don't care about the colors. I draw here, for example, with gray colors, and it's for me it's especially very important that they hard and that you can make dark lines with them, dark strong lines. Okay. But for my urban sketches, I use a very different technique. I don't draw that much with colored pencils only. I usually use colored pencils as an additional material. So a combination with, for example, watercolor or gouache, and sometimes also with fine liner. And for that purpose, I think that the colors and textures of pencils matter a lot. That's the most important characteristics that they should have in my eyes. You can see here that they appear so beautifully on this surface, so it enriches my sketches a lot. I think it makes them so so much more beautiful than without colored pencils. So here is another example, and here I only use colored pencils and watercolor and a little bit of white pencil, but that's something different. And also here you can see that textures matter a lot. It's so important that I can create this kind of textures, and you only can do this with soft pencils. So hard pencils like these ones from Winsor & Newton, or other pencils. I also have pencils, I love these ones, Faber-Castell Polychromos, beautiful colors actually, but these pencils are usually too hard for creating these kinds of textures. So I don't use them that much in my sketches in combination with watercolor or gouache. And another very important characteristic for me regarding colored pencils is that they should appear clearly on dark surfaces. So here, for example, you can see that I created some highlights on dark gouache layer. It's a gouache sketch, and also here you can see that I used a lighter color on a darker surface. So for these kinds of illustrations, I usually use these colored pencils, and so here I have Derwent Lightfast. This is one of my favorite colored pencils, favorite brands, but I mostly actually use colored pencils of CARAN Luminance, and this is because they appear so beautifully on dark surfaces. I have already done a few tests on the paper, and you can see that, for example, if you use this pencil, let me show you a lighter one. If you try it on the darker surface, you can see that it appears so beautifully. And if you try the same of, I don't know, for example, this Polychromos, you can see it a little bit less good. And if we compare it with Winsor & Newton colored, these are watercolor pencils, by the way, you can't see them actually at all. I don't know what it is, but it's not that good. So and I also have here pastel pencils, and they are actually quite good. You can use them for your sketches. They appear a little bit less clear on dark surfaces, maybe a bit better here. You can see the pencil itself quite clearly, but you can't really see the beauty of the color. However, a white color, for example, white pencil is quite good. I have another one, also white pencil, and this is from CARAN and it's a very good one. Okay, so I want to resume a little bit what I just said, and this is that I use different brands of colored pencils and different colors, and I do it for different purposes. So for my only pencil sketches, I use a lot of cheaper colors, and cheaper pencils have less beautiful colors, but I don't care about this. The most important thing for me is that I can create beautiful hard lines, and I can do hatching. And for my urban sketches, it's important that my pencils have beautiful colors, that I can create beautiful textures with them because they are a little bit softer, and that they appear beautifully and clear on dark surfaces. So I use especially CARAN Luminance or different Lightfast. These are my absolutely favorites. I also use sometimes pastel colors, pastel pencils, and I love them a lot actually because they appear a little bit less beautiful on dark colors, but they appear quite beautifully on light surfaces. The only disadvantage of pastel pencils is that they smudge. They are very, very soft. They can smudge in your sketchbook, and sometimes when you open your sketchbook you see the same color on both sides on both pages of the same spread. Okay, so this is all about colored pencils for now. If you have any questions about them, please ask them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them, and maybe I make another video for you and tell a little bit more. Or if you have any other questions about other materials, I'll be happy to hear it too. So if you like this video, please give me a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.